Hello, I'm Guy the Mirror.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I going to go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my Uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Guy the Mirror. I'm out.
Peace, everyone. I hope all is well. I hope what's today? Wednesday. Hope your hump day is going well. Do me a favor, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Before we get started, got a couple of announcements. Announcement number one, if you have not bought the documentary In Search of Uhuru, please go to searchforuhuru.com. Again, please go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Link is in the chat room, and it's also on the screen. Again, please go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Also, tours. We are rolling to Sierra Leone next week. Man, time flies by fast. We are going to Sierra Leone. We head out next week. So that trip is, unless you're last minute, if you're a last minute person, you're like, listen, Diners, I want to travel somewhere. I'm trying to get out of the country and I want to go visit somewhere. So yeah, I want to roll to Sierra Leone with you, Diners. Listen, you are more than welcome to join last minute and join us in Sierra Leone, guys. Look at this beautiful beach. I mean, look at this water. Look at this coastline. Look at this. This is river number 2. This is where we have our, every time we go to Sierra Leone, this is where we have our lobster dinner right here. Give me a second, guys. Let me adjust this camera. There we go. This is where we have our lobster dinner or lunch, lobster lunch right here in Sierra Leone. So listen, if you want to roll April 19th to the 30th, Sierra Leone, come and join us. Again, April 19th to the 30th, come and join us. Go to danfo.africa, danfo.africa. Link is in the chat room. Link is on the screen to learn more. And then we are rolling the next trip coming up. We are going to Senegal. We're going to Senegal for the Jazz Festival. Then we're going to Nigeria in August for the Osun Festival. Jazz Festival is May 21st to the 30th. May 21st to the 30th at the Jazz Festival. Osun Festival in Nigeria is August 6th to the 15th. And then we're going to Zanzibar. I think that's November 12th to the 21st. So come and roll. Come and join us. We'll love to have you. Again, please go to danfo, danfo.africa to learn more. Without further ado, we have in the waiting room, we have 2 brothers with us who are in the IT. Let me scoot this back. There we go. who are in the IT profession, and we're going to be discussing, and the community is not really talking about this like they should. The fall of the dollar, the CBDCs, and how to be prepared, how to prepare yourself for the future. We've been talking about it on this platform. How, pretty much the world is coming together and saying, listen, we do not want the US dollar to be the reserve currency. Because since it is the reserve currency, when they sanction us, they can use that US dollar to leverage. Even France, Macron came out today and said, listen, we got to stop relying so much on the West. So people need to understand how that's going to affect them and how to prepare. So we got brother Sub-Zero and Javon Swint on with us today. And Sub, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, Nagadef.
Magnifique.
Okay, so yeah, man, I've been on here before. Shout out to Donis and the whole Search Uhuru gang. We have been on here. We were here last month, and brother Javon was on here. We were talking about data science. Well, data science goes hand in hand with blockchain technology. We will be offering a blockchain course starting Tuesday, but part of the reason the video is titled the way it is because what we've discovered in this, I bought a lot of ISO 22 tokens. We'll talk about that and stuff, but I'm actually preparing. And what's going on right now is, if you've been keeping up with Russia and the whole Ukraine situation, how we took them off the SWIFT system, which I think was a chess move. We wanted them to do what they're doing. And Russia basically got with China, and now the BRIC nations are moving away. They've actually reached out to OPEC. OPEC has agreed. I mean, not OPEC. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, which is OPEC. And then,
right.
All these other nations are starting to migrate away from the U.S. dollar being the reserve currency. Now, we're at like 56, 61, whatever percent of all the reserves in the world use dollar countries, whatever, but it'll go down. I don't know if it'll ever go down to zero, but it will go down. There's a plan in the works. If you've been keeping up with Davos in Sweden and what they're doing, they're talking about basically every nation's eventually going to go to a computer-based, central bank digital currency, CBDC. And what that will do, all of these dollars digital dollars will be controlled by central banks. And they want it digital so that they can monitor what you're doing, how you're doing it. And also, in certain instances, like in China, they're literally giving you money that expires. So you'll go to work for an organization, they'll disperse some money to you, and you got 60 days to spend it all, or it's going to disappear. Like this is going to lock you in to a certain class level, if you will. And so what we're doing now, because what we don't see in this space is a lot of us, people that look like us, let alone in IT, period. But we definitely don't see a lot of us in the blockchain space. So what we're doing now at Lifting the Veil IT Academy is we're just using this as an opportunity to get people trained in the skill set, so that, hey, at least some of us can be in the room when these decisions are being made. Javon can really speak truth to power about this. He's actually worked for Ethereum. He's worked and developed for Ethereum for years. And
man, Javon, I got questions too. Like, I got questions about Ethereum and Vitalik. I mean, so let's handle the business first. Then I got other questions, Sub-Zero. If that's okay, because this is y'all time.
Yeah. That's cool. So, Javon, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Javon? Yeah. So, I was talking to Javon. I met Javon. We started talking. Man, I think I talked to him like an hour and a half when I first talked to him. We just started talking, me and him click. He's very knowledgeable of the blockchain space. And that's where the highest paying jobs I've ever seen in IT in my life. I'm talking about plastic surgeon money, like real talk. Right. And so I'm not saying, you're guaranteed to make $400,000 if I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is these are some of the most highest paying jobs in this field. So first of all, how did you get into blockchain? Javon, and how did that take place?
Man, so the way I got into blockchain, I was in high school at the time, and me and my friend, we were on the internet, and we were in real heavy into gaming at the time. So we had stumbled upon this website, and we thought the website was like a gaming website for PlayStation, but then we saw something that said Bitcoin on it. So we didn't really know, but so at the time, you could just use your credit card or debit card and make a purchase. So me and my friend, we purchased like around about 750 Bitcoins. And we thought it was for like a, like I said, like this game, like this casino game. We were trying to make some money. And so, come to find out, we made like $5,000 holding on to Bitcoin, and then we had sold it. Didn't realize what we had done. So fast forward a little bit, I had, once I had, sold all my Bitcoin, I had started getting back into it again around 2013, 14. And I had realized that if there's a digital currency, this is definitely going to be the future. I mean, the fact that we have computers, I had already knew that this was going to be the future. And so, but I was very curious about the technology that Bitcoin would number one, how are you able to use US dollar and buy digital currency? So when I saw that the coin had value, I wasn't thinking about it like that back then, but when I saw that it had value, I said, well, wait, let me, what is it's, when I saw that it operated on the blockchain technology, I began to get more interested in blockchain. I was already interested in crypto, but more so the blockchain technology is what really grabbed my interest. So I had already dabbled in the programming and stuff like that. So around the time towards near the pandemic, I had got a job working at Ethereum, and just basically, just one of the core developers helping. Well, a lot of stuff I did was more so DeFi related, just basically doing meta transactions on the Ethereum order book. And so when I first was going on my interviews with jobs, and I've done a lot of blockchain jobs, but because the skill set is so rare to find, man, I'm going on these interviews, they're talking about like 300,000, 359,000. But the thing is, they're paying you. Well, at the time I was getting paid in just Ethereum. So it's obviously free to Ethereum to give me Ethereum, but they'll give you some ETH. And once I started, I'll get paid every 2 weeks. So once I saw how much ETH I would get, and then I would sell it, I started calculating. I said, man, I could actually either hold on to this or sell it. But even if I sell it, like I'm still getting around like 300 and something thousand. And so I had started, I thought that was just maybe Ethereum, or maybe, maybe I had just knew something special. I wasn't really sure. But then I started to work for other DeFi protocols. And man, I started seeing that they were all, kind of, paying around the same based on if they just need you to basically to build out the entire project for them. So a group of friends of mine was like, man, hey, man, we're going to this conference. It was a government conference. And they said, man, you should come and check it out because they're talking about blockchain. So I had went to the conference, and the organization had asked me to join the organization. It was the Government Blockchain Association, and where we got to talk with regulators. I had ended up being friends with the inventor of blockchain. His name is Dr. Scott Stornetta. That led me to actually building a personal relationship with Brian from XRP. And I got a personal relationship with Charles Hawkinson's. And a lot of the stuff I did in blockchain was more so government related, because a lot of the governments are trying to use the technology. So just working with different government bodies, like I was working with the one of the commissioners out of Utah. They built they built on the Ethereum protocol where you can get married. So now legally in Utah, you can get married on the Ethereum blockchain. So when I'm talking to these, these people, and I'm seeing that if the government is interested in blockchain, then we need to be interested in blockchain, because every time the government is interested in something and we are not, we are the first, and we are the first ones to get left behind. So just hanging around those people, talking to Charles, and what was really interesting, man, meeting the darn inventor of blockchain. I was like, man, dude, you invented this for all the digital currencies that come under. So, but his name is Dr. Scott Stern. It's a real interesting concept. What made him start it, blockchain, and so in a nutshell, Satoshi reached out on their chat and basically asked, "Hey, could I deploy a currency on this ledger?" And they pretty much just communicated everything through email, and then thus Bitcoin was born. So, like I go to, I get invited to a lot of conferences. I've met CZ from Binance. And a lot of these guys, clearly just knowing that if all the, all these governments are taking interest into outside of, trying to ban the currency and do all that. But if you look at, what the World Bank is doing and what the IMF is doing, they're all gearing for blockchain. The IMF said that blockchain is going to be the biggest technology piece that all global organizations are going to use. So that's what, once I had realized it's more than just the making money and buying the coin at a low price and selling it for the high price. You want to learn how to operate the technology, because when you know how to operate the technology, you're in high demand. Like with all this AI going on, you're in like super high demand if you know how to build blockchain. I mean, again, it's not all about, if you can make money on a coin per se, but if you can build the technology, I mean, globally, you're in high demand. So with that being said, I have realized that if these jobs are paying around, 200,000-300,000, that means the cost of living is finna skyrocket. That means the cost of food finna skyrocket. So I have realized that I said, okay,
that's one thing that I noticed with them printing. They say that when I think it was 2020, the money that was in circulation has been 5x'd since 2020. So the reason things are getting expensive and they're not going down isn't just Ukraine. The Federal Reserve is printing money like madmen, and that's why everybody's getting mad and trying to remove and get away from the dollar. So I guess, Javon, I have another question for you. If you are not prepared, and the day that they turn on the digital currency and they say, okay, the banks are closed Friday. They close the banks Friday, and then Sunday they make an announcement. Oh, banks aren't going to be open tomorrow. They're not going to open back till Wednesday. Oh, and we're going to have this new currency called digital currency, and it's going to whatever. If you're not prepared for that, and specifically us as African Americans, what do you think would happen? Javon?
Hey, Javon, you gotta unmute yourself.
Oh, my bad. I started talking. What I think will happen to us, I mean, in a better lack of sense, I mean, we'll be a new third world country. I mean, and then this time, the wealth gap is going to be huge. They're trying to separate the wealth gap by $150 trillion. So from an economic standpoint, the wealth gap is, they're saying now, if you don't make $400,000 a year in the United States, I want to say that's considered poverty. If you make under 400,000, some crazy number they said, like, I got to get the numbers again. So when I saw those numbers and I said, man, $100,000 a year is a lot of money. But if you're saying that that's no money, then we already behind, and you're trying to increase what we're already behind by 150 trillion. That means we're gonna be like the dinosaurs. I mean, we're gonna be like in those future cities, how they have those cities in the air and all the poor people live on the ground floor. They're gonna be just
Elysium,
like that.
like Elysium, yeah.
That's the word. I cannot think of the movie.
Yeah, and I think that there.
So yeah, I definitely believe that.
When you listen to these people at Davos, that's how they're talking. You will own nothing and be happy. Like, when you hear something like that, this is not. I don't think you can afford to just sit on your behind and just say, "Oh, I'll be fine. I'll just wait it out, or I'll just, long as I know how to do this." No, you need to be in this space. It's just like this, man. And I tell people this all the time. I forget, there was this TED Talk I watched a while ago, and a guy was talking about times throughout history where in the last few hundred years where decisions were made that affected the whole of the world, right? And one of them was, the last one he talked about was Silicon Valley in the 1950s, right? That was a you know, the market, and he talked about market saturation, right? And I remember this guy saying that crypto is at like 2% market saturation at this point. And they said once you get to 11%, that's where you know, things it just exponentially skyrockets, right? Historically. So right now we're early. You're early in the game, even though you think, well, man, I've been hearing about crypto. Yeah, everybody's heard about it, but it hasn't. We're talking about market saturation. Right now, if you go buy something, you're gonna probably use a debit card or cash. Just about everybody, right? What if 1 in 10 places you went to, they use crypto? That's what I mean by market saturation. And so what's going on is once we get to that 11% market saturation, you'll start seeing these prices of these coins going up tremendously. And there's going to be another wealth transfer that's coming. And a lot of us are going to be left behind. I have a 7-year-old. Obviously, I'm concerned as a father. Anybody would be. And so we need to, as African Americans, not only do we need to have the proper, you know, preparation, everything set up like we need, but we also need to be in these rooms when they make these decisions. We need to be working in these technologies so that we're in these spaces. When they made the decisions in Silicon Valley, we weren't in the room, you know, for other reasons in the 50s, obviously. But when we're talking about even in the 90s, when the dot-com era was coming, I was going through college. Now, I remember being in, you know, hearing certain things about Stanford. And well, if you'd have been in Stanford in the early to mid 90s and you were working in the computer lab, you might have got a chance to become part of companies. And today you'd probably be worth millions of dollars. That's just on this low end, right? I remember, I don't know if some people are too young to remember this. I remember secretaries working in certain sections of companies that were Fortune 500 not Fortune, but Silicon Valley companies back in the 90s. They did an ABC Nightline about secretaries becoming millionaires and driving Ferraris to work, and because they got these stock options, and they once they were able to sell, they solidified, and they're multimillionaires. Jeff Bezos, if he gives his secretary 100,000 stock options of Amazon, she'd be worth $10 million today. That's not including stock splits. So she'd probably be worth more than that. But these are the things that we as African Americans have never been in a room. Like when Sergey Brin and his partner decided to start Google and they wrote that algorithm, what if you were in the lab helping them with it? What would you have been able to do, right? Or the founders of YouTube, this platform we all use every day, right? These guys got $400-500 million a piece when they sold it to Google, because they say they were in the room. You know, if you were able to contribute and make a contribution to the development of these new technologies, it created a lot of wealth. Now, am I saying that you're going to guarantee what we're offering is a guarantee to? No. What we're offering you is to be able to come in, learn this skill set, and be able to sound competent, know what you're talking about, and be employable in this in an early stage where there isn't a lot of competition. Is there a lot of competition, Javon? What's going on with that?
Oh no, there's not that much. So it is not that much competition, just because not that many people have the skill set. So, but what makes it competitive is the minute they find someone who knows the skill set, they're taking them up. So that's the only, the problem is there's not enough blockchain developers for the money that's out there. There's more money than developers. So you got companies who have millions of dollars that they want to pay a few developers, but they don't have a developer, so they can't even do their project because they don't even have someone that they can pay to start the project. So yeah.
Hey, Sub, can I ask a question about
that's what.
Go ahead, Javon.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Javon. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's was why the pay is so high. It's not like there's a, you walk outside and there's a blockchain developer here, there, everywhere. Out of 1,000 people, you may have one developer that knows how to. I mean, you may have other people that know how to do other stuff in IT, but from a blockchain developer's standpoint, you may can go to like New York, or I mean, even in Silicon Valley, there's not that many blockchain developers. And we're talking about Silicon Valley. There is blockchain developers, but even then, it's a shortage of blockchain developers in Silicon Valley. So, and especially with that banking collapse that happened, they're looking for blockchain developers to basically help Silicon Valley Bank not get into that position again. Basically, just kind of like that in a nutshell.
All right, Javon, let me ask you this. So there's so many different blockchains. So you have Ethereum, then you got the layer 2s, you got Cardano, you have Phantom. Like, is Ethereum here to stay, or do you think some of these other blockchains gonna overtake them?
No, Ethereum's here to stay. What Vitalik did, I mean, he's definitely going to be a trillionaire. I mean, just
you said a trillionaire?
Yeah, for sure. The way that they're skyrocketing these prices and the way hyperinflation is going, you're going to start seeing people become trillionaires. So, for example, it took 30 years for Apple to be worth 1 trillion, but then it took Bitcoin 13 years at the height of the bull market to be worth 1 trillion. But then you got, how the speed of how technology is going. For example, if these prices actually hit the prices that they're saying, I mean, some of these people are going to, if Apple is worth $1 trillion, and that's a company. So if you have a blockchain protocol, which to me simulates a company, and you were to launch the company, then you eventually could be in that space. You got to remember, this space is very new, and Bitcoin is already worth almost $1 trillion. So you have to think about, this is like when oil first came out. This is like when sugar first was sold, or cotton was first sold. Imagine being in the oil industry the same day Standard Oil Company says, you know what, we're gonna get in the oil business. Or thinking about getting in the railroad industry the first day. The stock market has been open for over 100 years. Can you imagine getting in the Dow Jones Industrial the first day it came out 100 years ago? So this is what I mean by that. So a lot of people are really rich. They're just not really saying how rich. Everyone's still talking about the money they make yearly. But you got to think about it. A lot of these oil companies have been making $1 billion prior to the last 100 years.
And that's why you see
they may say, oh,
Go ahead, Javon.
Oh, and so you got to think about like Walmart and companies like those. Those people already may have $1 trillion. You have, so in the finance industry, you have accounted for income and unaccounted for. The money that they're telling you, we're worth 40 billion. That means they're making so much money, they have to at least say that they're worth $40 billion. So a lot of these companies, man, especially these tech companies, are really, really, really making a lot of money behind the scenes. It's just they're only reporting what they want to report. So with blockchain being that's going to be transparent, and you're going to really see the value in these numbers. Apple is worth all this money, and Apple is in the United States. Blockchain is global. So you're going to have the money globally. So there's billionaires in the United States just off of the products and services they sold in the United States. Can you imagine developing a product and service that's going to be used globally? Like everything you do is going to be on a global scale. So that's why they're going to be trillionaires. I mean, Vitalik, in my personal opinion, Elon Musk, you got to think about it, Elon Musk already worth like 150 billion, 200 something billion. I mean, they do 2 more good ideas, they're already hitting that trillion. And it's all going to be black. The only way they're going to hit that trillion is in blockchain, because you got AI. Between AI and blockchain, AI is awesome, but blockchain is really what's going to make AI even more powerful, because you're going to be able to live on chain using AI. And that's where between AI, blockchain, and the dollar falling, and the world trying to transition into one world government. Yeah, man, it's a lot that's going to be happening in the Forex market. Just to give you an idea, I'm a day trader. EUR, euro and the dollar does about 6 trillion in volume per day. The S&P 500 has a market cap of $33 trillion. Somebody actually owns the S&P 500. So I really want you guys to understand, man, it's people gearing that. The reason why all these people have all this money and strategically placing themselves to make this money, because they know something we don't know. It's the reason why they're trying to gather all these billions. It's the reason why they're trying to have all these corporations. So you got to think about it. If these governments are falling, but same time, new people are forming government entities like BRICS and stuff like that, you have to understand how that's going to play a role in blockchain technology.
All right, but is there a need for all these other blockchains? So, ADA and, so you got Cardano, you got,
I think if you go ahead, Giovanni, and talk about the ISO 22 and the adoptions that are coming with those, because I think those are that's going to kind of answer what he's trying to ask. I think that, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
So there's like, for example, so to answer your question, we will need all these different blockchains. It's almost like how there's 1,000 barbershops and 1,000 different hair salons. So they have this thing called the ISO 2022 standard. Basically, it's a new global standard that a group of global organizations came together and said, hey, this is the standard that we're going to follow. So you have XRP, you have Stellar Lumens, you have Cardano, and you have, I don't remember the other ones. And those are basically like, what's going to be globally recognized as the standard. So, a lot of these projects that come out, they're all right, but you want to look at more so these government-backed projects, because those are the ones that's really going to set the standard. I mean, anybody can come out and release a coin, but the ISO 22, the fact that no one has probably heard about an ISO 2022, they have so many different type of ISOs. So that's just one of them. But with how they're going to change this entire banking system with these new ISO 2022 tokens for the global standard, I mean, to kind of sum up your question, yes, we're going to need all these blockchains, but most people are going to just use the ISO 2022 tokens as a method of either buying or using it as an enterprise level for business. So you want to really pay attention. Again, if the government is behind all this, then a lot of people will create their own blockchain protocols and stuff, but more of the real projects are going to be more recognized on a global standard. And Ethereum is definitely going to be recognized on a global standard. Ethereum came out with decentralized financing and decentralized apps. So, I mean, I believe, that's going to be the one that probably not necessarily outshines them all, but that's the one that's going to get credit for a lot of these protocols that are being launched.
So I got a video I want to share, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this video is a guy, it's kind of funny, but is also very telling as far as what the future is going to be. And so I just want you to listen to what he's saying. Can you share it, Donis?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so check this out.
Oil for dollars arrangement is threatened.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple, who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple, who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple, a former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple, leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple, who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple, 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple, 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors, former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany, former business director at Swift, former Swift board member, former CFO of PayPal, former head of the DTCC, former chief business officer at Uber, former VP of Amazon, and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple, who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.
I mean,
let me get a disclaimer, guys. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research. All right, go ahead, Sub-Zero.
yeah, I agree. We're not giving financial advice. None of us are. I was just pointing out what the tectonic plates, how they're moving. Whenever this has happened historically, black folks, I'm not gonna say every time, but for the most part, we get left out. And a lot of it is just information nowadays. It's a lot of things are digital now. So you can't, our ancestors, they were pushed back for just physical reasons. They were able to stop us. But now you really don't, and I'm telling you as a guy who's been doing IT for, about 13 years now, I'm gonna tell you right now, race really doesn't stop you in this industry. You can get in this industry and really, take off and do things that will have you ahead of the game. And people don't care. They'll look right at you, see you're black, and can care less. In fact, being American carries a lot of weight in the IT industry because a lot of times these people come from other countries because they're willing to fly people from all over the world to this country, pay $20,000, $30,000 for a visa for them to work, and pay them $150,000. And you sitting outside working, making $40,000, $50,000 because some college or university wouldn't allow you to get in to their tech program because you need to know calculus and trigonometry, right? Which is a gatekeeper to stop a lot of people, not just blacks, but a lot of different people and individuals from getting into IT. Well, you don't need that. You don't need that. We're over $6 million in annual salaries for our students. We've been able to really put our students in the positions to win. I've been very vocal about giving back, and those that do get in this space being able to give back. That's why me and Javon do what we do. We out here, he really enjoys it. I could tell he really likes doing it. We love to see us get in these spaces and win. So Javon, I guess I'm gonna ask you a question. What are you gonna teach?
So good question. So basically what I am going to teach is basically, in a nutshell, how to build blockchain. What is blockchain? The fundamentals of blockchain. What programming language is used to build blockchain is more so Solidity. Solidity is used for beginners. It is not an advanced language. It doesn't require you to have previous programming language. Like I said, it's a brand new language. Blockchain is brand new. There are no experts in blockchain. It's only 13 years old. So, it's not, it's not something that people have been doing for 50 and 60 years. So they got a head start over you. Most people who are in blockchain probably have only been in the space 3, maybe 4 years. And a lot of the adoption happened during the pandemic. So you're right on time. So I basically be teaching about, just different type of algorithms, how to read the blockchain ledger, the difference between a definance application versus a centralized finance application, learning about consensus algorithms. Also, just let's see what else. Mainly just learning how to do exactly what you see. Well, you guys may not be familiar with, some of you guys may be familiar with Ripple, but you guys will be basically learn 100% of beginning to end on building a protocol and actually launching a protocol. But you guys kind of want to, there's some standards that I have. We call it it's called a blockchain maturity model. And basically, since there is no government standard, it's basically a standard that, once you learn how to build the technology based on what a government would actually take, we would do a few labs where you guys will basically be able to keep these labs to use on your job interview. And so I'm more so focused on basically just getting you guys to understand from a government standpoint on how to build blockchain and how to actually interpret blockchain the way governments and other federal agencies look at it.
Okay. Okay. So once we acquire these skills, and we go out and the students start going out and interviewing and things like that, what type of salaries should they expect?
So it depends. If you are on an interview and they need a developer they need you to build the entire ecosystem for them, their entire ecosystem. They're gonna at least offer you around, if they don't have that much money, they'll try to offer you around 259. If they have, they'll offer you 259 plus digital assets of the company. So for example, if you're working for a MasterCard, a friend of mine, they're working with MasterCard. MasterCard is basically taking their credit card system and putting it on a blockchain. So, but they need them to do basically they basically need them to do one. They need them to find another developer, and then they need them to build it, the entire thing for them. So they're paying around 300,000 for that. Plus MasterCard is giving them, because MasterCard is going to have a coin that comes out with the project. So they're going to get MasterCard coins, which is basically shares of the company. And then for bringing on another developer, they're going to do profit sharing with them. So it's that's that 259. That's base. You get money in the company, you get revenue share. Some of them give you healthcare, dental.
Let me ask you, didn't you say yesterday that you worked on Shiba, or you were right adjacent to when Shiba Inu came out, and you said you were able to go ahead?
Yeah, one of my friends was one that helped develop. They had a bunch of developers that helped with that project, but I literally got access to because my friend was a developer.
So you know Satoshi.
Man, I really wish I did know, huh?
Oh, that's the guy. Oh, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Satoshi Arioshi. Okay, go ahead.
So I got in the, about the second day the token had dropped. So, and then I held the entire bull market and sold at the top. I mean, I made a mistake during Bitcoin. I was like, I'm not gonna make that mistake again. So, at the height of the bull market, you had, they don't have no office. They don't have no office. So you got to think about it. You got in a company that was worth no money, and in the height of the bull market, Shiba market cap went around around $60 billion in their market cap. So if you were on the job, you would have got your 259,000. Plus, they would have gave you tokens, so you could have sold. You would have been a millionaire and getting the base salary. I mean, that's basically how these blockchain companies set you up to win. Because again, you need a lot of money to even start a blockchain company. So, but you got to think about it. The person who spends $40-50 million setting up a blockchain, if they stand to turn that project into a market cap that's $2 billion. I mean, you getting paid 259,000, and then they turn around and make 2 billion. I mean, that's paying you. That ain't nothing. So that is kind of giving you the scope on how the money is and what the money looks like. But I mean, the money is past good. I mean, and you work from home. It's not like you got to go into an office and half the time you're on your computer, maybe what, 4 or 5 hours out the day. And then it's like, oh, you may get paid 2 weeks and ain't did no work when you first get started.
Oh yeah. You know, one of the funny things is when I get a new job, man, it's always something with the laptop. So you sitting there, then when they finally give you the laptop, you try to log in. Oh, you don't have access. You need to create a ticket. It takes 2-3 days for them to go get your ticket, do what they got to do. Man, you been got 2 or 3 checks. You got like $8,000, and then finally you can log in and start working. You know, and it's like that. But I guess with me, I've been doing IT. I've worked multiple jobs. For me, it was always I could get 100, 120, 130, but it took me getting 2 jobs to get north of 250. So what I did was I just started doubling up because my job would allow me to work just like 30, 45 minutes where I'm actually meeting and speaking with someone a day. The rest of the day, you just need to get your work done. However, whenever. It could be 10 o'clock at night, long as you get it done by the next morning. So if that's the case, there have been times I think for about 2 months last year, I worked 3 jobs. I was just trying to get a ridiculous amount of money every month because it was some things I was trying to do. But, I can comfortably do 2 jobs because of the main job I have and how I've been working there for years. I know it like the back of my hand. The other jobs, I get those jobs, put a little bit more time in, but still, truthfully, I still probably would work total. That's between 2 jobs. I probably work like 5-6 hours a day. That's just between both of them. And I was still able to, because my main job, I've been doing that for a while and I know what I'm doing and I'm competent and I can still be productive while at home, right? Whereas when you're talking about the other job, it may take a little bit longer at first because you got to, have to apply yourself. But, even still, sometimes you might be working into the night, and that happens maybe once or twice a week where you really have to get some things done. But it's a comfortable lifestyle. I mean, I'm sitting at home. My wife doesn't work. My son's in private school. We're in a good scenario, good headspace, and we're comfortable. And that's not doing blockchain. Like if I had 2 blockchain positions, I mean, my goodness. I don't know how much money I can make. But I was able to clear 200. I wasn't able to get 1 job and clear 200. I wasn't that good, but I was able to, anybody pretty much on average, once you get to around 4 or 5 years experience, you can get $100,000 in like the fields that we teach at Lifting the Veil. We don't teach, $60,000 skill sets. We teach, skill sets that pay, average about 95 to 100, 110, somewhere in there. That's the average. But this, I would honestly say, I can honestly say that blockchain is probably some of the highest jobs I've ever seen have been blockchain positions. I've never seen it. I mean, I'm just being honest. I have never seen. I mean, you could probably find somebody trying to give you 140, 120. But let me ask you this, Javon. What type of, when you see a company giving you 140, 120, what's the difference between them and the companies you're describing?
They don't have that much money, and that's the most they can offer. And they figure that if they find someone that barely knows how to use, they can find somebody that kind of is a blockchain developer, can type a few lines. They'll pay you $159 or something like that because they're gonna have to sit down with you, walk you through the code. It's almost like they're gonna have to teach you at the same time. And some developers go that route so they can just stay in the 150s. But if you like when I go like on a job interview for a blockchain, I'm more so looking for like government related blockchain projects. Those are the ones that are gonna like pay the most. And government means city, state, local, anything bank related, any like a financial institution,
Fintech.
credit institution.
So fintech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fintech. Yeah, those are. But if like somebody has a cool project and they want to release a coin and like something like like a meme coin, those will pay around like 160, 175 if you get offered to work on a meme project. But if you do like like a fintech project, or you go work for like an XRP or something like or a Cardano or any of the top 100 cryptocurrencies, you'll probably get paid more than likely, the high twos, mid threes. It just starting out. The interviews are, they're really going to make sure that they're expressing exactly what they need. But if you make it through those 3 rounds, then I mean, yeah, you're pretty much a solid. But again, it's based on what type of blockchain sector you're going into. Like, again, like when I was working for Ethereum, I went into the decentralized finance side of Ethereum. You know what I mean? So that was more of a demand than maybe building like virtual land for Ethereum or something like that. So, and I knew if you need a fintech application built, you need it to really work. So you need a certain type of talent that's going to execute that. So those are the companies that can afford to pay you that much money. So
Okay.
that's a difference.
Okay. So Donis, you had some more. You say you had some more questions, Donis?
Yeah, I got one more question. Then can people call in?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I mean,
Javon,
we got about 10 more minutes.
No, I mean we got how long you guys want to stay on? No matter.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
hey Javon, what are your thoughts on he worked with Ethereum because there was, of course, Vitalik. There was the guy that started Polkadot. Then there was Hodgins, I think that's his name is, who ADA. And then you have, I don't know if you're familiar with him, Fabian Vogelsteller, who has a protocol coming out called Luxo. Are you familiar with Luxo?
No,
You're not. Okay.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay. Were you there when Fabian was there at Ethereum Foundation?
Oh yeah, I was there.
Okay. But you don't know. Did you know Fabian or?
Yeah, I knew who he was.
Huh?
I say yeah, I knew who he was.
Okay. And then what's the guy that started Polkadot? Did you work with him at all?
I met him before, but I didn't really. I met him when I went to a conference because they were I met him because somebody was trying to get me to work for them, and so they were just. I guess it was like an in-person interview.
Mm-hmm.
But I just decided to brainstorm with them a different way. To kind of help them get their point across because they're gonna be really huge in gaming and stuff like that. So, but yeah, a lot of those guys, I know Andre Antonopoulos. It's like one of the first early Bitcoin advocates. Brock Pierce. So yeah.
All right, hey guys, listen, links in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, click on the link. If you have any questions, link is in the chat room. We'll take 2 callers and then we'll close out. Link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, click on the link. I'll forever hold your peace.
I guess just for while we're waiting, I don't want to rub it in Javon's mess with him, but I'm just, I just did the math at $29,000 per coin for 750 coins is $21,750,000. And
at today's price?
In today's price. Now, you had that. He said he had that. He was just playing around with it. Like, and so, just think now, if I do, you say you had 750 when it went to 69,000. I mean,
yeah, if it went, yeah.
Oh man, 51 million. So that's, what I'm saying? Like, I had like 7 or 8 playing with it one time, but this is when it was like $300. But man, I mean, it's just, but what's funny, I'm gonna tell you what's funny. If you go to CoinMarketCap and you look at a lot of these coins and you look at when they first start, right? Like you go to the all-time calendar, right? And you go all the way back to the left where it first starts. It might be 0.000006 of a penny, right? And then all of a sudden, it'll jump up to $4, right? And you'll be like, okay, it went to $4. That's the all-time high. Well, you know, when you're talking about $4 on a coin that you probably, let's say you put $700 in it. You see what I'm saying? That could turn into millions. You never know. I don't know the math on the number I just said, but I'm just hypothetically saying. So that's why crypto is really creating a lot of people. It's created a lot of Doges. Doge created a lot of millionaires. And I'm not trying to say you're guaranteed to be a millionaire. We're not giving financial advice. I'm just saying that if you work in these companies and they're paying you in that coin and it just shoots up to $4, everybody's not going to dance in the streets, but you will because you work there and they paid you when they were a fraction of a penny, and they gave you, every paycheck they gave you like 20,000, right? And so you're getting 20,000 of them at a fraction of a penny, and then all of a sudden they shoot up to $3, $4, and you got like, a million of them, at $4, $4 million that you pretty much have got on some money that you really weren't really struggling to play with, so just a thought.
It's so Kyle Reese, to answer your question, it's the hundreds of thousands. But again, guys, links in the chat room. If you're gonna call in. If not, we'll go ahead and start closing out. Again, link is in the chat room. But share with everybody what you're offering and how people can reach you. And
yeah. So our website, I don't know if you can put it in the chat. I'll put it in the back for you.
Yeah, put it in the back and I'll post it.
Okay, so this is the website right here. It is. So that's the website, and this is my personal number. My number is 678-627-2796. Give me a call. And we can talk. I'll definitely, be there to, answer any questions you may have or anything like that. I consider myself, I try to be most down to earth, real person. I reach out to you and I love to see people succeed. Obviously, that's my personality. I like to help people. It's very fulfilling to get that phone call when the person gets the job. And people call you crying and say, man, it just changed my life. Man, they just gave me a job offer for $110,000. I never thought, I love those calls. And so give us a call and we'll see what we can do.
We winning. Go ahead and unmute yourself. We winning. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Sub-Zero, you always bring valuable information. Javon, shout out to you guys. You guys is literally like a 1-2 dynamic. I want to give you guys your roses now because something like this is extremely, how can I put it, paramount when it comes to research. With me, I'm not a big Bitcoin person, but the blockchain technology and the Lightning technology that Cardano uses is very vital. Mainly, I would like to say that we need more Sub-Zeros. We need more apprenticeships like this when it comes to high school and also community colleges. My first question is, now, do you think that the Bitcoin bump is going to happen right when they say the Bitcoin halving, Q3 2024, or do you think it's going to come up as soon as the Fed may pivot on the quantitative easing, the easy money policy? Because Bitcoin benefits with QE and stimulus just like stocks and other assets do. That's my first question.
Yes. Well, you have what is called Bitcoin is doing what is called a halving next year. And the reason why Bitcoin shot up to 69,000 during the bull market was because that was another Bitcoin halving. So basically, it decreases supply and the demand increases. The miners don't get paid as much, and the miners just don't get paid as much. So next year is the next Bitcoin halving. So when the halving began in 2020, Bitcoin went from like 6,000 all the way up to 69,000. So now the halving happens every 4 years. So next year the halving will happen, and we got election coming up. It is definitely if it does historically what it does, then its possibility is obviously going to go up in price. Hong Kong is legalizing crypto in the entire Hong Kong June 1st.
June 1st. That's gonna be crazy.
So with all that, and then if XRP loses their case, Bitcoin is going to soar. If XRP wins their case, Bitcoin is going to soar. Meaning, because if XRP loses the case, a lot of people don't understand, when you just lose with the SEC, it's just a fine you pay. And then you just have to reestablish your business model, have them reassign it, reassess it, look at it, and then they reapprove you. It is not like, because if they say, well, hey, it was recognized as security, you didn't do your part. All right, what's my fine? $5 billion. The world will give XRP $5 billion to fix their business model. That paying those fees and all that, and then they'll reapply. So a lot of people, when they're not paying, I use Ripple as an example. A lot of people are not paying. They're paying attention to the case, but they're not realizing that if he loses, he's not going to go to jail. It's just a fine and a fee he has to pay, and he can still fix the errors with the company and re-register the security with the SEC again.
And even if
it's not like if he loses,
yeah, and even if they lose, and let's just say they pull out of America, which wouldn't happen, but let's say they did, the whole world is about to use XRP. So America's just gonna be behind. That's what's about to happen. So I ain't saying that's what's about to happen, but I'm just saying that's what would happen hypothetically. To answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So either way, it's going to help the industry, because if he does loses, a lot of regulators are going to figure, basically, if he does loses, then legislators and lawmakers will know what blockchains are considered securities, and then people just have to re-switch their company. If he does win, legislators are still going to basically use his case and their technology as like a standard of, okay, well, if you build your company like this, then it's not considered a security. So either way, the adoption is going to work either way. And either way is going to benefit Bitcoin either way, just because the technology is here to stay.
Okay. Because mainly I was more or less thinking when it comes to the Bitcoin run up again was pretty much the Bitcoin halving, and also the monetary policy of cutting or pivoting. Because the corporations, they can play the whale bigger than really 100 million consumer retail traders. So that's why I was more or less Q3 of 2024. That's the projection. It could be a early pivot, probably in the middle of this year. But I was just not necessarily too privy when it comes to the jobs that there was out there that was making 150, 200,000. I was in California that was involved in this type of realm. I'm not a person that necessarily wants to be in the field, but I'm always interested when it comes to something like this, like tech, AI. Now, you said Forex. I think Forex is something that people need to pay attention way, way more, because they have like MT4s, MetaTraders. A lot of people are programming their own trading bots, and they're getting busy when it comes to Forex. Also want to get your take on that, Joanne.
Yes. Well, me, just in the Forex part. Let me see.
Because we got a lot of global African traders that's in the chat, and Forex is a monster. People are literally getting out of poverty just by trading.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. Trading was a big thing for me. Just being able to, and I think that's something along with the industry that I think is going to be normal, that more people are trading, because as everything gets converted onto this blockchain ledger, pretty much, a lot more people are going to, a lot more people are going to start to see the power of trading and using technology to change their economic situation. But I think that with people being able to build their own bots and create their own trading strategies, I think that that's definitely going to that's definitely going to change the world, man. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we didn't have access to back then, we have access to now. And the fact that you can just buy into a project and the project does well and you can get yourself out of poverty, then that's just different.
And you mentioned that it's $6 trillion from the euro to the dollar, correct? When it comes to transactions daily
per day. Yeah.
That's over $700 trillion. And people say, well, that's derivative, that's all debt. But like, come on, we need to capture the transactions, man.
You still can spend it. I tell people a lot of time, it don't matter what they think. If you got $10 in your bank account, you got $10 in your bank account. It don't matter if it's a debt. It don't matter if somebody, the government got owed, the IMF, and it's inflation out here. If something costs $10 and you got $10 digitally, it will take your $10.
And forex leverage is a beast. Like, people be using 5, 10, 20, 50, 100x leverage. Like, come on, man. We got to get more in the aspect of scalping, being very good when it comes to chart reading, have an understanding of fiscal and monetary policies all over the world. Like, I'm looking at Bloomberg all day, every day. Even though I don't necessarily agree with the politics, I'm always doing my research and studying around the information and getting understandable, more digestible points of view.
Is this real deal?
Hey, man, don't give my government up.
What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
I know real deal, man. I know real deal, man. I know that boy. I know how he always talking about the money. That's why I like real deal, man.
But Sub, I appreciate that what you're doing, man. I really hate the fact that a lot of people always trying to shit on you, man, when it comes to this, because you're putting dudes in position. You're literally helping people regardless, and it doesn't necessarily have to be high extreme praise that needs to be given all the time, but it's something called respect, tactfulness, and that's something that I find a lot of these dudes, Gabe, to be very, very tasteless, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man.
It's very tasteless, man.
I'm gonna just put my head down, grind, help as many people as I can. I know, Javon, we got class in a minute, so I want to wind down. But I want to make sure that everybody can reach out to me, 678-627-2796. You can call me, text me. Also, the website, www.ltvacademy.com. Go there, schedule a book, free consultation. I'll consult with you, talk to you, and, we can just put our heads together. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to answer all these, smart contract questions. If you want to, I can't answer all those, but I can talk about the course and, the actual process of getting into a field, so to speak. So, Javon, did you have anything else?
You guys need to learn blockchain. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So I always tell people, man, look, it's like it's 1995 and Amazon, what Amazon is going to be today. What would you do? Amazon is 65 cents a share, 70 cents. Go back and look. It was 65, 70 cents a share. I mean, what would you do today? Well, knowing what Amazon is going to become, knowing what Google is going to become, would you dump your bank account? I'm not telling you to go do this, but I'm just saying you set yourself up. So that's it, man. Guys, give me a call, man. I'll be glad to talk to anybody. Donnie's brother, I appreciate it. I hate I couldn't catch this Africa trip with you, man. I really do. But I'm going to try to catch one of them with you for the year up.
Okay, for sure.
Probably August. So, all right,
good, brother.
All right.
That's dope.
And listen, if you come to August, I know some cats who are active in like blockchain and crypto and Legos, and we could put something together.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd probably get Javon to come with me. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Have a blessed one, everybody.
All right,
real deal. Thanks, brother.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, that is Amir Search for Huru. Peace.